It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
What a wonderful day to talk hockey. It's a wonderful night, actually. Usually we do our Sunday show Sunday morning, but both of us were a little under the weather this morning. Me, because I'm going to blame it on my live HabsCast chatters. They're keeping me up. I almost did a 3-hour show after the Habs game.
Wow.
We were all a little excited, Rick. All the big teams except Buffalo losing, and Montreal spanking a Washington Capitals team that, if the stats were right, and I found it a little incredible, had been 22-3 in Montreal in their past 25 games.
Unreal. I was not aware.
No. So for them to spank them like that, 6-2, and they outplayed them. I mean, they full marks for the win. It really looks like the Canadiens basically have to play 500 or better hockey the rest of the way to get 97 points. And that's probably the magic number. It's looking pretty good for the Canadiens making the playoffs 2 years in a row for the first time in a while, isn't it?
Yeah. Yesterday's game was just fun to watch because it was a classic Habs game, and what they had to do to win. They were a lot quicker on their man defensively, and so Washington wasn't able to establish this their cycling game that they do so well because they're really big and strong. Montreal was getting on them quicker, and they were cutting the middle of the ice really well using their sticks and their bodies. Evans with a great goal doing that at the end of the game, and there's other plays like that where a lot of plays by Washington was broken up with a quick transition. So that was fun, and it was important for them to reestablish their game as they get into the playoffs. Every team's going to lose a game here and there. Every team's going to have a bad game here and there. You don't want to have any slumps. That's what you don't want to avoid at the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just looking back here. I mean, the last time that they legitimately were top 8 2 years in a row was 2013-14, 2014-15. I mean, they made it as the 12th seed that one year. That was kind of remember when 12 teams made it and they ended up lucking out with a win over Pittsburgh, I think it was. But you're feeling a little under the weather here today, Rick. I appreciate that you're doing this. That's why we delayed it, because Rick was sick. Rick was sick this morning. I haven't got a cold all winter yet, and knock on wood there, but I hope I can. Today is hopefully the last really cold day. It's going to be like minus 25 tonight. The last blow of really cold weather, I hope, for this year, and I hope your last cold of the winter, Rick. I guess it's your second this winter now, right?
Yeah, no, it's a nasty one, and I'm sorry if my voice is totally cracking, and I'm going to probably be jumping out of the screen a little bit to drink some water, but we'll push through it.
Wow, you're a trooper. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
You should have wore one of those hats with the straws and just,
Yeah, there's a big history of hockey players toughing it out through broken legs, and I'm toughing it out through a cold. It's the same thing in my book. So.
Oh well, there you go. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate that, but I posted something on X earlier tonight, just saying, can't wait till March 6th. By March 6th, the Habs should have Binnington, Sherwood, Kadri, Carlo, Thomas, all in the lineup. So it should be fun.
I saw that.
I mean, holy frig, eh? Like, they get tied to every rumor, it seems like. If there's somebody that might be available, The Habs are one of the teams kicking the tires on the.
And it's gonna be none of those guys that's gonna be traded to the Habs. Watch it
No,
happen
I
that way.
don't expect. I don't expect it to be any of them. You know, the latest rumor of the day has Benner and Bob both going to Edmonton. Well, they should try to. They got to do something. Poor Connor McDavid. He's getting roasted there. You know, I posted something about McDavid, like saying, "Come on, like, get off of this." You know, oh no, he's not a generational player because he hasn't won a cup yet, and he doesn't show up for the big games. The guy's won. He won the OHL Cup MVP on a losing team. He won the OHL playoff MVP on a losing team. He won the Conn Smythe on a losing team. He won the friggin' Olympic MVP on a losing team. Yeah. Does that mean that he's a loser? No, it means he's friggin', you know, he gets his teams to that point and they just aren't quite good enough, right? Like, what NHL team's going to win a cup with the goaltending and the defense that they've had the past 10 years? You know, when he came into the league, Edmonton had to improve their goaltending and defense. And 11 years later, what does Edmonton have to improve? Their goaltending and their defense, you know?
Yeah, and you know, that depth is just not good enough. So he can't play 45 minutes a game either. It's not realistic. So when he's not on the ice or Draisaitl is not on the ice, well, what's going to happen is they're going to get scored on a lot. They're going to get a lot of penalties. They're going to be shorthanded because they can't keep up with the pace. And that's what we're seeing in Edmonton. They just struggle without McDavid. He's carrying the team on his back, but it's not a game where you could play 60 minutes hockey. He can't be on the ice all the time. So it's a really big failure by the management more than the player, and the player is kind of suffering from it.
Absolutely. I kind of like your rough voice there. Kind of cool.
It's tough. It's hard to get the words out, but I'm trying to make sense as quickly as I can.
No, you're doing great.
Great.
We're getting a good crowd out here. There's not a lot of sports for a change on this Sunday night. Like it's been, you know, for the first time in a while, no Olympics, no NFL playoffs, no, you know what I mean? Like it just kind of, it's actually a good night to talk hockey. I mean, every night is, but Montreal now goes on their last Western swing of the season. The schedule's really in their favor this year. Like they've played the worst parts of it. You know, to be going on this Western swing, and it's not like they're playing. They're winnable games for a change. Remember, it wasn't that long ago when they went on a Western swing to San Jose, LA, whatever, and it was just, well, they're not going to win. But they have, first of all, they have one of the best road records in the league this year. And San Jose and company aren't, you know, as strong as they used to be, as tough to beat at home as they used to be. So I expect them to get some points out of this Western swing. What do you think?
Yeah, they are. And the other thing to consider too is they're really healthy for the first time in a long time, right? So there's options there. You could roll lines better. I think San Jose had a fantastic run for a while, but we knew at some point the wheels would fall off. It's just not a good enough team right now, especially at D. Although they're doing fairly well off the back of Celebrini right now, and Will Smith and Eklund and some of these young guys, but I think it's a really good time for Montreal to get on the road. You know, the guys have been apart for a while because of the Olympics, and just doing this road trip at this time of the year as the playoffs are approaching is a really good thing. I expect points, and I expect the team to work on just getting better with the basics and having that opportunity to do so. Because when you are leading the game, that's when you're able to really focus on doing the details right. It's almost like the importance of practice, but it's actually games almost. Not that I think you should take any team lightly. I'm not saying that, but it's a good opportunity for the Habs to focus on different systems, different plays, and just remind themselves of what they do well. against teams that are really struggling, and that will probably lose players in the next little bit because they will be liquidating too. So there's a lot of action in the air, if you will, as they go down to the Western road swing.
Yeah. Marty after a good game, Marty has a tendency to kind of keep the same lineup as a rule. Mind you, this year, Arber hasn't sat out 2 games in a row too often. He's actually played in 86% of the games. I know for some people it feels like it's, and I keep seeing, the people that complain about whenever he sits out say that, he's out every second game. He's actually played 86% of Montreal's games this year. But Struble has 3 points in his last 4 games. Arber has 3 points in his last 95, which is kind of an interesting stat, if you want to look at it that way.
Yes.
I thought Struble played a solid game. The big hit, picked up another assist, wasn't making a lot of mistakes. Who is the 6th defenseman in San Jose on Tuesday night, do you think?
I think they go back with Struble. I think that Marty's going to want to reward players, and Struble did have a good game. I think they're going to give Struble one more chance in San Jose. I think it's a team that have some decent skaters, and that's the problem with Xhekaj is if he does make a mistake, if he's taking on a quicker team, trying to catch up or get back into the play is a lot harder for him. So I think he's going to want to be a bit careful in that sense, and maybe use Struble for that reason. And I agree with you. I think he played well, moved the puck safely. Didn't really make any mistakes that are egregious that I noticed in the game. So I think he deserves that chance, Grant, myself.
Yeah. And Toby back in nets. Do you think Dobish gets the start?
Oh, it's got to be. I mean, it'd be crazy if he didn't. No, sorry, Monty, but team has to win games, and we know he's going to come back. And I know some fans are going to get upset, but look, Dobis is not playing every game until the rest of the season. We know that. But I think, Monty, I think the second game is in Anaheim, if I'm not mistaken, or if it's LA, I forget where it's in Anaheim, right? If the Habs could get 2 wins in a row, maybe there's going to be a little bit more looseness in the air, and that's maybe a good time to bring back Monty. Unfortunately, they're on the road, so you're hoping that he worked with Marco in the last few days a little bit carefully and try to correct some of the same issues that come back. Tracking the puck, getting himself out of position because he's trying to do too much. Those are the same mistakes we've seen all the time. So that was the frustrating part, I think, for Habs fans and for the team.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed Money Puck posted something earlier today about I should have got it. I forgot to do it, but something about the okay, here it is. Top goalies over the last 10 games played. Did you notice that?
No, I did not see that.
Okay. Alex Laine, Sorokin, Shesterkin, Thompson, Dostal, Skinner, Korpisalo, Guhle, Gibson, Forsberg, Comrie, Swayman, and 13th, top 13, Samuel Montembeault. Now,
wow.
Yeah. Would you have thought in the last 10 games that Skinner, Guhle, Comrie, Montembeault would be in the top 13? Just goes to show you that you can only take so much out of these advanced stats, right? Like when they say top goalies, like top goalies, in a special advanced stat, not top goalies, no questions asked, right?
No, I think to remember is advanced stats. Like a mistake is a mistake. A good play is a good play, but when they happen is very important, and what the feel is around the team is very important. And I think when Monty makes a mistake, it's a bit of a backbreaker often. That's a big issue, I think, for the team.
Yeah. Well, it's goals saved above expected, which again, that doesn't factor in goals saved when the game's on the line, way that you let in goals when your record, your win-loss record. Like Dobish, okay, maybe he's not top 13 in goal save, but you know what? He's 9-0-2 in his last 11 friggin' games. Give me that guy over the guy with the, saves above expected. Sorry, who would you rather have? The guy with the best saves above expected percentage over the last 10 games that has a 500 or below record, or the guy that's 9-0-2? Give me the guy that's 9-0-2.
Yeah, of course. And you see the body language and Monty, and you see the body language around the team. He's really fragile right now, and he looked defeated already last game. So I think it's important to go back with Dobish for that reason. He's scary as hell. I don't know. His puck handling yesterday was a bit crazy at some times. I was wondering if he was trying to be an extra defenseman there and maybe go a little bit too much off away from his crease. But I think the players appreciate his cockiness and the fact that he does attack the play. He wants to make the save. He feels like he wants to be a factor, and he lets the people know. He doesn't hide his intentions to lead this team and to be the number one goalie. And I think that rubs off on the players quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. For Summer saying the Kings are weakened by injuries. Maybe Laine will dress for the Kings on Saturday. Did I miss something there? Did he get?
I think Saturday. Saturday, I believe the Kings are playing Montreal on Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
But did I miss? I haven't got an alert saying that Laine's been traded. Laine's been traded to LA. I think somebody else would have mentioned it in the in the chat.
Yes. Sorry, I misunderstood the. But Grant, I don't know what you think about this. I'm curious to have your point of view, but. Do you think the Oilers putting Mangiapane on waivers might affect the ability for the Habs to trade Laine? Because you got a player for free for less money that plays more of an offensive game. I don't know how you feel about that, Grant.
Like you think like LA might pick him up as opposed to going for Laine type thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I don't think Laine is going to cost much. It's just taking on a salary is going to be the major, major price that a team has to pay. And with the injury to Fiala, like in LA's case, they've got the cap room to take on Laine's contract for the rest of the year. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to, if LA is indeed interested in grabbing him, I don't think that changes too much. I don't know I don't think Mangiapane's been great on power plays, and the LA is right at the very bottom of the league in power play percentage, and that's why I think the main reason why Laine would be attractive to them to help spark that power play, just as he did for the Canadiens last year. When he came in, right? I mean, it was such a injection of life for the Canadiens when they got Patty scoring a goal a game on the power play when he first came in. So I don't know that will change too much. But I noticed there was a few pretty big names on waivers today. Like I know guys from the past that have been good, like Fabry, and it was an interesting list of players that at one point, at least in their career, they were good. They were good players.
Right on. Yeah, and I'm also thinking for a Laine, if at Pittsburgh wouldn't look into it, maybe he would. With those guys' ability to move the puck, Laine would be in heaven. Like he'd have a lot of options. So I'm thinking Pittsburgh might be a dark horse for Laine. I would not be surprised.
Laine, Crosby, and Malkin on the power play. I could see that being, Carlson on the point. That's not a bad. That's not a bad quartet right there. Yeah, you never know. Well, I mean, they're not going away. Even with Crosby out of the lineup here, Pittsburgh's 5 points out of 6 without Sid. They're they're staying in the race for sure. So it's I've had debates with a few people back and forth, and I really think, people say, well, they're not going to change from their plan, the Canadiens, but you have a plan, but you also you alter that plan as time goes along, and like I don't think the plan was to pick up Phil Deneau 2 months ago, but circumstances at the time said, yeah, well, we need to get this guy. Um, I don't see them as having a steadfast plan that where they went into the year and said, okay, no matter what, we're not going to be buyers at the trade deadline this year. I think it all depends on situation, where you are, where the prospects are, where the players are on the team. I think the Canadiens are going to be buyers here. Now, will it be big buyers? I don't know, but when is the last time the Canadiens really went for it at the trade deadline? I was trying to think, and the last big splash where at least where the media kind of got excited and stuff was Thomas Vanek, but yes. I didn't at the time consider it. He was past his prime, and I wasn't that excited about it. I didn't think, well, here's a guy that is going to be a playoff warrior, because he'd never been that, and that's not the type of player he was. He was already on the decline. So, if you exclude that, you got to go back a ways that the Canadiens, but they have not been in this situation in recent times either, where they're not only in contention, like there have been times in the past when they were like first in their division and they made a couple of moves at the trade deadline, but they couldn't make a big splash because they just didn't have the assets to give up. Charles Hudon was their top prospect, like somebody mentioned to me one year, right? Well, who was going to give you a top 2 center for Charles Hudon and a second-round draft pick or whatever they had? But now, we've seen a lot of teams over the past 15, 20 years that every trade deadline, like they're in about the same spot Montreal was, top 3, top 5 in their division, in the conference. And every year trading away draft picks, not having much in the system, not having many drafted prospects, trading drafted prospects in the past, but still doing it and say, well, we're going to give you a future first rounder and go for it year after year, despite having a completely depleted farm system. Well, Montreal's not in that. They're not in that situation, but they have arguably the best under 25 talent, including prospects in the entire league, right up there with Anaheim. So they have all their draft picks, and they haven't been trading prospects. So not only are they top 3 in the conference, but they have a surplus of valuable assets that they can dangle here that won't really truly affect their future, because some of these possible assets may not ever be like top 4 defensemen or top 6 forwards on the Canadiens. So, are you really harming your future by trading them right now to get the pieces that you hope can, in an Eastern Conference that I think is wide open this year, especially with Florida? The 2-time defending champs are not going to be the defending champs again this year. It with Barkov's injury, it kind of opened to me. It's wide open. Tampa will be tough to beat, but if you make the right additions to this club, I think that they can give anybody in the East a go, and you just never know at playoff time. So all of that said, You better not disagree with me here, Rick. Do you think no, do you think that this is a year finally for the first time in since I can remember that at the trade deadline the Canadiens might make a significant splash?
Their mind is open to that, Grant, and for that reason, and last year, Nick Suzuki spoke to Kent Hughes, and he said, "No, keep the team as is."
Yeah,
And Kent listened, and he kept his promise. No, I think if the team feels that they could win, Kent Hughes will respect the team and say, listen, if they tell me they could win, I could go along with it. Now, I think Grant too, and everybody. I'm going to state the obvious here, and I think this you will agree with. Nobody's saying acquire a certain player no matter what the cost. That's what I'm
right.
saying. I'm not saying Ryan O'Reilly for a first round draft pick, age and Reinbacher. I'm not going that far either. Let's be reasonable. But it's a good time to have your mind open. And then the second thing too that worries me just a little bit, or not worries me, but I think it's something to consider is when the player shows in the American Hockey League that he's pretty much ready for the NHL, you could keep him for a while. But if you keep him for too long because you want to continue adding assets, that player will lose some value. Because after a while, teams start to question, why is he still in the American League? Is he not improving anymore? Is he been there for too long? Like all these, and the player gets fed up. Maybe he's not motivated as much. So you have to think that there's a certain window of opportunity, and sometimes it's time to go for it.
Like an Adam Engstrom, for instance, will his value ever be higher than it is right now? It may not ever be. And some of these prospects here, starting next year and then especially the year after, will no longer be they'll be they could be claimed on waivers if they don't make the team, and so you lose them for nothing. So the Canadiens have a surplus, too many bodies here as it is. I think they have to sell off a little bit, but I think they're going to predominantly be buyers here now, and that might be a guy like Thomas too. Like if Robert Thomas is available, as it sounds more and more like that's possible.
Right. Yes,
the Canadiens are one of the teams that have that it makes the most sense for, because they have the assets. If you could get a Robert Thomas, I would trade Jarosky at plus, to get Robert Thomas. Alexander Jarosky, there's no guarantee he's ever going to be an 80-point scorer in the NHL. And also he's not a center. Like the value of Robert Thomas at 26 years of age, if he can be a 60 to 90 point scorer, second line center on the Habs for the next 5-6 years, my goodness, like that the 1-2 punch at center for the Canadiens, and Kapanen drops down to the third slot. That's a formidable trio down the middle. But the thing too is, and somebody mentioned to me yesterday, said, well, the real core of the team is 19 to 22. And that's not, there's two cores here. There's the 24 to 27 core and the 19 to 23 core. Like Caulfield, Doc, Suzuki, Dobson, Doby, like all of these guys are in the 24 to 27 core, yes. Right?
Yes.
And you need veterans. You're going to need veterans to win in the future. 5 years from now, you've got some of these guys that are 30 to 33. You know what? Every team has those good 30 to 33-year-olds on Stanley Cup winners. You've got a mix. You've got those guys. You've got the guys that will be now 25 to 27 at that point, like Demi and Slav and Hudson and stuff. But you can't just have 19 to 27-year-olds and win a cup. It's never been done, ever. So you've got to have you know, Robert Thomas would lie into that group with Suzuki, and he's the same age, the 24 to 27 core, that over the next 5 to 7 years will still be in their, they'll still be in their primes, right? In today's NHL, a player like Robert Thomas, still at 32, is going to be a very good player, I believe. Unless an injury, and that could happen to anybody. But you typically, in today's NHL, when you're a point per game player at 26, at 32, you're still, a 60-point Mark two-way center. So, and then also, you've got young guys like Xhekaj that'll be coming up. Well, over the next 5 years, Thomas is the first or is a second line center. And then at that point, maybe Xhekaj is ready to, or Kapanen or whoever is ready, to take over, to be that second line center to go with Suzuki. Like Xhekaj isn't going to be a second line center the minute that he steps into the lineup, not if you want to be a cup contender. So you bridge the gap between when Xhekaj is truly ready to be an impactful top two center with one of the best second line centers in the league. You'd basically have 1A, 1B with Thomas and Suzuki. So if Thomas is in the mix at all here, I think the Canadiens are one of the contenders that have the surplus of assets that they could A, give up, and B, that St. Louis would be intrigued by. So I'm not discounting the possibility that the Habs end up being in on the possibility, if he is indeed available, that they try to pick up a Robert Thomas. And yes, it may even mean that they would have to trade Oliver Kapanen to do it. But again, to get Robert Thomas, I would, I think it would be such a great addition that I would even sacrifice Oliver Kapanen for that.
Boy, folks, Crack is really pouring out his heart here on and taking a big leap of faith. But I agree with everything you said, Grant. And again, it's not a rental. You got it for 5 years. And Montreal's going to be a contender for those 5 years because everybody's signed. They're not losing players in the next 5 years.
No,
it's incredible what they managed to do. And the thing, too, is you want to give those young players playoff experience. They're not going to not make the playoffs and then suddenly be ready to contend for the cup. They got to get there. They got to play games. They got to learn what it's like and how they're going to have to adapt their game. The sooner they make the playoffs, the more they get that experience, the quicker they'll be like true dominant contenders in my book.
Yeah. Here's Olivia change your handle. Did Olivia change your handle or what? Cool guy says Rick is always great. Yes,
Thank
he
you,
is.
cool guy. Thank you.
He's a pretty cool guy for sure. Saying something like that. Yeah. No, exactly, Rick. It's I mean, I think everything should be on. Put it this way: he's not. Kent Hughes is going to have his phone on. He's not going to be shutting it down over the next few days. I would explore every possibility. I believe that they'll probably want to add a veteran defenseman. Teams do it every year that are in contention. You need 8 or 9 bodies on defense going into the playoffs. Like even the last time the Habs, when they went on the run in 2021, Bergie added Merrill and Gustafsson at the trade deadline.
Oh, geez, forgot about those guys. Yeah.
To have some more veteran presence and just, well, frig, it was all veterans on that club, but Yeah. I think they're going to add a veteran, a big, rugged veteran right defenseman is one of the targets that they'll be going for here. I suspect the bottom six rugged, big winger or center, and they'll kick the tires on guys like Thomas, maybe Kadri. I'm not. I've already stated that I'm not on board for that, but it wouldn't shock me if they picked up somebody like Kadri. I mean, it's a possibility, but I think the main targets here are going to be veteran big right defenseman and a veteran big rugged bottom six piece. What do you think, Rick?
I think definitely they're going to pick up a big right D, and it's not going to be a star. It's going to be a 7th-8 defenseman. In the past, we've talked about Luke Shen. I know he's not nowhere near the skater he used to be, but at the same time, for the playoffs, with all the hooking and holding, he might be able to get by for the playoffs if you need. And I think he wouldn't mind making a big name, but I don't think he's going to go for a rental. O'Reilly maybe too, but we're hearing that he doesn't seem to be too enamored with coming to Montreal. I don't know how true that is. I'm not going to speculate on that, but I wonder if that's another name they're looking at.
Yeah. Not enough Tim Hortons in Montreal, or
we have some. We have some.
Yeah, actually, you have quite a few. Yeah. Well, yeah. That seems to be what you hear, but again, I don't see too many people turning down Montreal if indeed, and Stamkos also you saw 3 names, but I don't know. With Vinny Lecavalier, Marty St. Louis, the young promising group that Montreal has, I'd be very surprised if Steven Stamkos would turn down a trade to Montreal if it came about. But I'm not in Steven Stamkos' shoes, so that's just that's my opinion. But I don't know for sure.
It's only because some teams that were in the playoff, that were not in the playoff hunt, got back into it now. So you're wondering, a Boone Jenner maybe, I don't know, as a third center.
Oh,
well, Columbus is back into it now, so they're gone. They're not an option.
No. Yeah, no, I would have loved Boone Jenner, but no, they're, won 10 of their last 11 or something before the Olympic break. So yeah.
So the options for center for teams that are sellers, there's not a lot of options. It's really small.
Yeah, absolutely. Summer is saying Vanek had 5 goals, 0 assists in the playoff run. Yeah, finished when Kreider took Price out. Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't a big Vanek fan. It wasn't all about stats with Vanek. Like he couldn't check his hat, couldn't skate, was soft. I mean, there's more to hockey than just how many goals you score. Like his assist total was in line with his physicality and his competitiveness, 0. But anyway, Kent Johnson's been healthy scratched. Yeah. Again, Montreal doesn't need a Kent Johnson. What they need is some truculence. Kiefer Sherwood now has been mentioned again. Oh, talking to the
Sorry, I apologize.
Can you not keep the water close right in front of you?
That wasn't the water. Sorry, it was.
Okay. Oh, you're blowing your nose.
Sorry about that.
Oh, Frank, I blow it on camera all the time.
I'll do that. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't have an issue with it. Hey, you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta blow. You gotta blow.
Not a big Ken. Why is Columbus not dressing him? Well, there's a reason.
Exactly.
He's a first-round pick, top 10. Did you think that they'd want to use him? So I don't think he's quick enough. I think he's way too fancy. I think he's too much of a perimeter player. I'm I'm not at all interested. I think he's got to go to a team that is rebuilding, and they hope they give him a lot of minutes where results won't matter, and you could kind of elevate him back up. So no, I'm on a no for Ken Johnson. No interest.
Well, he's not going to go in your top six. He's not replacing Kirby Dach. Like
No.
That's not going to be the guy that wins the puck battles and gets the pucks out for Suzuki and Caulfield.
Right.
Kirby's looked fine, I think. And he's got 6 points in his last 6 games. Nice goal, 3 goals in that period. I think Kirby, also his play kind of, the Canadiens don't have to be desperate here. They don't have to get a second line center, even though that's what there's media still pushing that it's just, I still haven't looked the stats up. I'm going to do it tonight. But, I got thinking, okay, Cappy's got 18 goals, right? He's going to hit 20 plus. How many second line Montreal centers in the past 25 years, like this millennium, has scored 20 goals?
Question.
Question. Has there been any? Like, I don't know. Like, when I say second centers, like, maybe there was a couple of years there where Desharnais was considered the first center, but he wasn't to me. Plekanec was the top center, and it just so happened that Desharnais was centering the first line, but he was the second. Put it this way: the center with the second most goals on the Montreal Canadiens. Has there been any this millennium that had 20 plus? Probably not too many.
Wow.
It would
right.
be
right.
Yeah. So was there? I've never heard in the past 25 years the desperate call for us needing a second line center. That there's been this year, continuous. Yet the Canadiens have one who's going to be their first friggin' second line center to score 20 goals in friggin' decades, which I find funny that, they got to get a second line center. Yeah. Well, he's the best one they've had goal wise in friggin' forever. So anyway,
the line is slumping a little bit in terms of results, but they're getting quality shots on net. So it's going to break soon.
Oh yeah.
Just one has to go in.
Wow.
But every game they're getting a good shot or two at least, if not more.
Yeah. Well, if Slaf had buried that nice feed from Cappy, we're not talking too much about it. But yeah, Cappy has not been as good the last 10 games. I'll grant you that, and maybe he's wearing down a bit. I really liked him in that bronze medal game in Italy, and I think we're going to see they're in a bit of a slump right now. Slaf's come back, tried to do too much a little bit at times. Demi, something's been a little off with Demi the last little while too. I think he had, somebody posted something. He's got something like 2 goals in his last 23 games or something like that. So he hasn't been fantastic of late. It's always the everyone always points to Cappy for that, but the other 2 guys haven't been lighting it up of late, especially Demi either. Like it's kind of a, both Cappy and Demi are sort of struggling at the same time here, and in their own zone too. I've noticed that they've a few games that they've kind of got hemmed in a little bit. It doesn't help when Slaf's trying those fancy back passes in his own zone either, right? But oh geez, we're already up to 43 minutes. Okay, Rick, why don't we get to your prospect of the week here, and
awesome.
Why don't you let us know? You had this guy ready. So this video is from a couple of weeks ago because you had it last Sunday, and of course we ended up spending the whole time talking about the gold medal game, the gold medal loss to the Americans. So why don't you fill us in on this promising OHL prospect?
Prospect of the week is left winger Adam Novotny. Adam Novotny, 6'2", 205 pounds. He's got 30 goals, 30 assists in 50 games. Here he's going to score a goal. He's in red, number 16. He's behind. He's going to go behind the net. He's going to go not to the net, but he's going to go. And here he goes.
Oh, yeah.
Beats the guy for
Nice
the puck.
play.
Passes it to front. Doesn't go. Look at this goal. Spins around. Knows where it is. Gets it in.
Nice.
Just, so smart. He wins a lot of puck battles. He's a smart two-way player, as we're going to see. Here he goes with another really clever pass. Pretends to pass. No, comes back again. And he passed it to the guy behind him. He swung towards the defenseman, but banged it behind him. Yeah. Here you're going to see, I believe here it's going to be wins another puck battle, gets a puck. Can you rewind that a second, Grant? Possible? Sorry, I kind of messed something there.
Absolutely. I think. Just a second. Yeah.
Look at this.
Is that good?
Two guys on him, backhand pass to the open man.
Nice.
Really, really good play. His shot is solid, and his shot is actually going to kind of lead to a goal a little bit. And now you'll see that he comes in, good heavy shot, big rebound, and that leads to a goal eventually as Ottawa kind of breaks down a little bit, and then they start falling apart here and there. Here's a version of his stick handling. Watch this. Turns the other way.
Nice.
And here, watch what he does here.
Oh.
Really,
Nice.
really good. Now here, it's going to be a little bit of a stick handling too, in tight. Here is going to be another play. Watch it. So he's number 16. He's asking for the puck. Goes to the corner. Watch what he does. He comes in. Shot. It's blocked. And now there's a quick. And look what he does. He backs checks so quickly and gets right back into position.
Protects the puck well too, it looks like.
Yeah. Fantastic. He does a really good job. And here he's going to go just a quick return. Watch this. Lost the puck. Came back. And he's going to use a stick here. Boom. Breaks down the play. Gets it in the corner. And they're going to get it out. Now watch this. Ottawa's frustrated, right? They got scored on. And Novotny's there on the down right there. Watch what happens to him. Boom. So he goes down.
Oh.
No, they didn't give a penalty. Now watch what he does with his elbow here. Boom. Little shot.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. This is the same shift. Boom. Big hit.
Okay. So he's got some sandpaper too.
A little bit, yeah. And he's going to come down. This is maybe a little bit of, he overhandles the puck sometimes. I have to find one area of his game that's not the best. And leads to a penalty here because he puts his arm around the guy. But I don't think he's got a ton of players to work with in Peterborough. They're a pretty average team. So I think he holds on to the puck maybe a little bit too long just because he's everything revolves around him. But he's got 30 goals, 30 assists. So he's as much as a shooter as a passer. So we don't know what he's going to do with the puck. The opponent always has to be careful. He's got good size at 6'1", 205 pounds. As you saw, really protects the puck well. And he's really aware of his defense. He always comes back. He always breaks up the plays with his stick a lot. He's always in passing lanes. So he's a cerebral player with decent size and a good shot. Maybe he could work on his skating a little bit. I'd like to see more explosiveness in this case. A little bit more, moving the puck a little quicker. But nothing major. I'm just saying a little bit of explosiveness. Just get that little awareness over the other guys. But he fights off 2-3 players at a time in a regular shift to make plays, and he makes them happen for Peterborough. So Adam Novotny, definitely my player of the week.
I like him. The next highest, like he's got 61 points in Peterborough, and as you pointed out, I looked this up while you were talking because I'm like, they don't have much. He doesn't have much to play with, right? No. 48 points the next, so he's leading them in scoring significantly in his draft year, right? I mean, if he was on a team, if he had line mates that were very productive, he might have 70, 80 points, right?
Right.
So -6, which isn't great, but Peterborough is not a powerhouse by any means. He looks pretty sturdy there too, like thick. Look like he doesn't have pins. He's not skating on pins, that's for sure. He looks like he's got thick calves.
You're right.
And what I liked there on a couple of the plays was how he used that size to kind of protect the puck, and he looks like a guy that could go anywhere from like 10 to 20, probably.
I think he's going to go anywhere between 10 to 15, actually. I don't think he passes 15, to be honest with you,
Right.
Grant. I think they're going to like the profile. You could see this guy doing well come playoff time because he does those little things. The bit of the power game, a little bit of sandpaper, a little bit of physical nature to be able to handle himself in the player. It's not all finesse in this case, although he does have great precision passing, great vision, and some cleverness in his overall game. He's able to mix that with a little bit of power, a little bit of simplicity. So I think guys are really going to like Novotny. I think he goes anywhere between 10. I don't think he gets past 15, in my opinion.
Maybe even 8 to 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No surprise there if that happens. None.
Yeah. Well, it looks like just from the the rankings on Elite Prospects, that consolidated rankings say 12. So that's in line with what I think the most independent scouts feel. He's likely somewhere in the 10 to 15 range, and that's a nice pick. And it'll probably be out of Montreal's range, but just in what I've seen in the past, what you showed me and what I've seen this year, like that'd be a nice pick for the Habs. But I'm not expecting him to be somebody that unless they trade up, of course, that would be available when the Habs are going to be picking this year.
And I agree with Montreal finishing 31st because they're going to win the cup, and Ottawa, unfortunately, is not going to be picking this year. He's not going to fall that far.
There you go. All right. Well, most of your talking's over here, and I'm sure you're happy about that. I'm going to talk about the Habs prospect of the week here. Are you okay to hang around, or do you want to go?
Hang around another 5 minutes, Grant. I can't thank you enough for doing the show with me today and being so understanding about it and accommodating me. It's fantastic, and I always appreciate it very much, Grant.
Yeah. So you want to stick around to see the Pickford files here?
Would love to see that. I got to see more of Bryce.
Okay. Well, I just quickly before I got to look at. I'd like to look at games that are close, and so I didn't take the last game or the one before that when it was like 10-1. This was a 3-2 game against Calgary, so it was second last game, and let's have a look at.
Fires, scores! Battle Noah Davidson and.
Get that sound turned on. These WHL guys are a little.
They're loud.
Okay. Yeah.
They're loud.
Okay, that's the wrong video. Here we go. No, that's not it. That doesn't look like. Okay, why is it Medicine Hat each one? Okay. Well, it appears that I have downloaded the same one twice. So these are his scoring highlights in the past week. So we'll just have a look at those and enjoy.
Fantastic. Look at that energy.
Yeah. I don't know why this hasn't. Okay, this is disappointing.
Well, it's fun to see Bryce Pickford, though. It's not at least that, but yeah, I understand what you mean.
Looks like it didn't download the other one, but these are all his goals here and assists. But his shot is just like I say. I don't think I've ever seen a defense prospect with as good a release and as accurate a shot as him. It just hits that top corner every single time, And did it show the Calgary Yeah, this one here. This was he hadn't been great in this game, and then comes to overtime and look at this. He's just he's just special when the game's on the line. It's I've never seen the like. But I'm gonna get this and see here. No, it didn't download the friggin' Calgary game. Okay, folks, I'm really apologize about that. But those are his goals and assists this week, and that's why he's the prospect of the week. He had more game-winning goals, 2 more. He's now got 11. He leads the entire CHL in game-winning goals with 11 in just 46 games. Okay, that would prorate to 14 at this point if he hadn't missed games. The next best in the CHL is 9. Now, this is a defenseman, all right? He has game-winning goals in 24% of his games. So basically every 4 games, he scores a game winner. Again, a defenseman. Prorated over a full season, we're talking about 16 game-winning goals if he'd have been healthy and a whole season, right? The WHL record for game-winning goals in a season is 15, Ben King. And this, I believe, is modern day. But the all-time Q record for game-winning goals is 17 by Guy Rouleau in 85-86. Now, I don't think that's all-time. I'd be surprised if Mario or Guy, I don't think the stats go back that far with the game-winning goals. But, in the last 30 years, no player in the queue, no forward in the queue has more game-winning goals than Pickford is on pace for this year if he'd have been healthy all year. So it's just, for a defenseman to be doing that is incredible. Has there ever been a junior defenseman score 11 game-winning goals in a season? Probably not. And he's on pace if he hadn't been injured and go to the end of the year for 16, which is just like we've never seen the likes. Offensively, he's something else. I had a look at this Calgary game, and there are some concerns with me as far as his defensive game. I think that he definitely he's not going to be playing in the NHL for a couple of years at least. But if and when he is ready, I could see him being in a bottom 6 protected role, but he's got to be on one of your power plays with that shot. It's so elite, and the Canadiens. It's funny, Dobson's going to score quite a few goals this year, but he doesn't have the shot. He doesn't have the shot this guy does, and he might score 15 or I think he can be a 20-goal scorer at the NHL level if the rest of his game rounds out. But it's going to take some time. I see some flaws away from the puck. I just downloaded it here, so I am going to add this video, and we'll have a look at it. Rick, if you want to go now, I understand, but here is the video.
On the rush to the middle of the rink.
All right. It didn't download. It said it did, but okay. So this is against Calgary. Let's have a look here. And quite a few of these are in his own zone, where little casual at times. I don't mind his skating. His skating is half decent. He's not undersized. He's about average sized defenseman. But certainly when he has the puck, like look at here, right? But then he lost it. Then he lost it there and kept going. So now he's nowhere in the play, and then here ends up being. We finally see him come into the picture there, right?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So he's a little bit of a rover at times. He thinks, offense first. A bit of PK Subban in him in that regard, but
Yeah,
he's so dynamic offensively that you forgive it to a certain extent, right? But there's a few plays here where here he gets the puck, and that wasn't too bad a play. Just defenseman didn't get to it. Here he makes the move. He's got decent set of hands. He walks around a few guys in here, but it's the one-on-one defending where I probably have the biggest issue with him at this point, and we'll see a few instances of it as we go along here. And there he managed to get it out. And here's one of his 2-on-1, and that was I don't know, pretty casual. Like, look,
would like to see him get flat on his. Got that.
Yeah, or move his stick, turn around and move his stick the opposite way. He didn't pay any attention to the other guy really, and here he threw it. There were 3 or 4 turnovers in his own zone, and that was one of them. Here, the casual, like, what was that, right?
Whoa.
Yeah, the casual backhand up the middle instead of going along the boards. That was ill-advised. So, then he took out the guy in front of the net. I think, okay, I'm going to back that up because I think he may have took 2 penalties on here. Because right after, he knocked the one guy. Okay, so after he turns over the puck, he hooks the guy, then knocks him, gives him the shot. I think he was getting the penalty there, and then he dumps his other guy. So he may have got 2 penalties on that. So turned over the puck, then took a kind of a silly penalty. So wasn't too crazy about that. Here, a little overcommitted a little bit there, but not terrible. This one here, check this out. Like, what was he? Yeah, he should have been. He shouldn't have let that guy get in behind him like that. So there's some work. There's some work to do defensively. A little casual at times, away from the puck. And but look at here then, right? Gets the puck and just
goes.
Yeah, pretty smooth puck carrier. And then look at this move here. Zip. Draws the penalty. So Drew got the penalty drawn back for the one stupid one he took. There he got a shot on net. Here wasn't crazy about this one too. Look what again, he should have look at that move though too, right? He's got really sweet hands. No doubt about that. And I like how he hustled back here. I'll give him that he got back into the play, didn't waltz back. But here again, like, what's he doing up that far, right? He's a defender, and then just kind of didn't work that hard getting back. But he should not have been up that far at that point. Mind you, they're down a goal. He's trying to do his Pickford thing, right? But still, it could have been 3-1, then the game's done. You gotta almost as important not to give up a goal at that point as to score, because there's still 9 minutes left. So sometimes thinking offense a little too much, but and now here, like, he just let that guy waltz in, almost tipped it in, but then this is an overtime, and look what happens. Goes back, and it's, okay, he's saying to himself, Pickford time. Comes up.
Crazy, look at that.
And boom. And wins the game. So obviously there's good and bad there, right? And the little their little jump up and down celebration that they always have there. So there, I'm glad I was able to download
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, but
He may get shell shocked when he joins an AHL team, right? Because he's gonna be
yeah,
surprised.
well, you know, for those wondering, like, will he play in Laval in the playoffs this year? Maybe, but it might be a little too much for him right away.
Cappy has no hair to pull, man.
What's that?
That's no hair to pull.
No. Oh, Ken, I was at the Medicine Hat game. I thought he was leaky defensively and had a rough game. Yeah, well, we just saw it, right? Not perfect. Certainly could be a little more competitive in his own zone. I'd like to see a little more of that. I have in the past, so I think it may have been just not his best night. But at the end of the day, he still won the friggin' game in overtime, right?
Exactly.
Was on for one goal against, so it wasn't the end of the world. But that to me is a guy that is going to need a couple of years in the AHL, right?
Yes.
So, like, he's nowhere near Reinbacher at this point.
No.
As far as the next right defenseman that's, young defenseman that's going to be joining the Canadiens, their play away from the puck, it's night and day difference. It's not even close. So, will he ever be better than Reinbacher? Probably not, but he's not supposed to be, right? He was a third-round pick. Reinbacher was a top 5 pick. Yeah, if you just look at the stats, you go, well, he could end up being better than Reinbacher. But what I see is a guy that, if and it'll come, I think, because he's a good skater. His size isn't bad. He's got some physicality to him. He's smart. His skating is good enough. It's just going to be learning how to be a pro, how to play away from the puck at the pro level. And that will take probably a couple of years. But the Canadiens won't have a spot for at least a couple of years on defense anyways. Reinbacher will be the next one, maybe Engstrom. He's third or fourth in line. And there'll be, it's a young group for the most part. And maybe when Carrier eventually is gone, maybe Pickford's ready at that point. But don't be expecting him to come into the AHL and be on the top pairing in the playoffs in Laval this year. Based on what I see, you only have the puck 8 to 10% of the game at most when you're a defenseman. So the other 90%'s pretty important. And from what I see, there's work to be done for him in that regard. But a third pairing defenseman in the NHL who will, when you need a goal, he'll get lots more ice time. And on power plays, he'll be on power plays. It just with that shot alone, he'll probably score 10 goals, power play goals at the NHL level some days. So a nice piece, but certainly far from the finished product is in my mind at this point.
I wonder, Grant, if he doesn't improve his defensive game. I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't become remember Andy Delmore kind of defenseman, right? Produced a ton of points, but got traded year after year because of his defensive game.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So you hope he does better than that. That he works on it and prevents that. Right.
No. Exactly. So the floor is not that high on him. Like, there's going to be. There's no guarantees he's going to be an NHL defenseman, but certainly at the HL level, he might be a 40-goal defenseman if that's,
Yeah.
if he's there 3
Yeah.
years from now, he might score 30, 40 goals and you think, okay, somebody will look at him. But I think he's a captain of a really good Medicine Hat team. I've seen games where he has been good defensively. So you don't get too crazy about one mediocre game like that. And hopefully, I know that he's a pretty smart player and he wears the C. So, dummies don't normally wear a C.
No, definitely not.
Good character. So I think I'm hoping that the next time I look at him, that I don't see as much bad stuff, because that was away from the puck. That was not. It was certainly a below average effort from him in that game. So sorry, all you Volokin fans yesterday that I might have burst your bubble a bit, and today with Pickford, but gotta call him as I see him. I gotta, I'm not going to sugarcoat it if there are a few things that I see that need work on.
Great stuff, man. As always, we really appreciate that.
Okay, and sorry, he was on for both goals against, right? Yes. It's you can't. That's why you can't just look at the stats and the highlights. I know a lot of people on Twitter that don't get to see him. I'm fortunate enough to get to look at the videos. If you just see the highlights of him, you think, well, this is going to be an NHL superstar. But you do have to look at the whole game, look at his play away from the puck, and it's a work in process, in progress. It'll take a bit of time, but I'd say he's at least 2 years away from knocking on the door, and not like there's a spot probably for him for that like the time anyway.
So great stuff, Greg.
Okay, Rick. We've kept you 70 minutes. I'm going to let you go gargle hot water and salt.
I will.
Gargle. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Have a great night, and thanks to all the listeners too, guys.
Drink plenty of liquids, orange juice. Don't forget your Tylenol, all of that stuff. Okay, my friend. Get a good sleep. Are you going to work tomorrow, or are you taking the day off?
No, I'll tough it out. I guess, unless I'll see what happens tomorrow. If I'm in rough shape, I'll have to stay home. But we'll see tomorrow morning when I wake up.
Well, Dr. Grant says take the friggin' day off. Okay.
Thank you, man. Thanks, Grant.
Okay. Bye, Rick.
Bye,
Thank you so much. Thank you. Rick Springhetti, folks, the one and only. What a trooper, eh? To friggin' join me when he's that sick. I'm not going to ask him Tuesday night to come on after San Jose. It'll be too late. But Schaefer just scored his 19th goal. Didn't he have 19? Didn't he get his 19th last night? Hey, Charles. Thank you very much. Doc had a good game. Yes, he did. Let's get to some comments here, folks. I'd play Monty versus a team that doesn't shoot too much from the blue line. Yeah. I'd play him against a team that doesn't shoot at all. I think that's where he's best suited. V-Doc offering a different opinion for the first time ever on this live chat. I still prefer Dobie, but I'm not sure Monty was the main reason they lost. I don't think anybody's saying he was the main reason. He just didn't come up with the big saves. Habs will need them both. I do think they misplayed Dobie, forcing Monty as number one, but I'm pulling for Monty to bounce back. Well, there is always the Fowler option too. I don't think they if we see if Monty can't win games here and make a stop when it's really big over the next 2 weeks, you can bring back Fowler. Don't see why not. Monty has good advanced stats because of the Winnipeg game. He got a +4 goals save above expected. Yeah, 1 game. Good show, Grant. Keep it going. Thank you, Robert Allen. Appreciate it. The Kings are weakened by injuries. Maybe Laine will dress for the Kings on Saturday. Yeah, maybe. Monty can play well in the second games of back-to-back. Yeah. Schmidt was traded for I noticed that for Boris Kachuk. Suitcase Kachuk. How many times has that young man been traded now? Man, oh man. What is he, like 24, 25, and he's on about his 5th organization? Bergevin would have picked all those guys on waivers for the playoff run. Yeah. Don't get me started. Pedro. Doc had a good game. I absolutely believe that. Grant, you make total sense. Oh, okay. I'm going to star this one. That one's worth keeping. Thank you. If they can get very good pickups, go for it. Kovalev, yeah, I was thinking too. Kovy was a deadline move. Yeah, that had sprung to mind, but and at the time, people thought, it was just a rental too, right? Because he was going to be an expiring UFA, but the crowd was so took to him so well. They loved him, and then he fell in love with Montreal, re-signed, and we got 2 or 3 good years out of Kovy. That's true. If you could get a Thomas and a rugged, good stay at home. But also, did they, like even then though, did they get anything else other than Kovalev? It was, this year I think they make multiple moves. They pick up at least 2, maybe 3 players. If you could get Thomas and a rugged, good stay at home, yeah. Would it cost Xhekaj to get Thomas? Maybe. Then then I hesitate, right? However, it'd still be something I'd consider, as long as they didn't want, Xhekaj 2 firsts, Engstrom and Pickford or something like that. Then no, you say thanks, but no thanks. If they don't bring up Reinbacher, I hope they go for a solid right-hand D. I agree, Don. The bigger, the better. Absolutely. Okay, I'm turning you off. Trade Jarofsky, lol. Hey, Apache Nation. Yeah, well, to get a 1B first line center, yeah, I would trade Jarofsky all day. And is Jarofsky going to be an 80-point scorer? I don't know. We know that Thomas can and has been an 80-point scorer and a center and a good two-way center. Won a cup. There are things about Jarofsky that bother me too. His floor is here. Thomas's doesn't have a floor. He's right. We know what he is. He's an NHLer, a top 2 center, no questions asked. So, and still only 26. So, if they absolutely insist on Jarofsky, as long as it's not Jarofsky and this and this and this, and I would, if the deal is Jarofsky in a second or Jarofsky and Engstrom or something, close to that, I would, to get Robert Thomas, I'd do it. But I get the people like Alex Jarofsky. He's a pretty stick handler, that's for sure. I believe Vanek was a deadline trade. Back then, Vanek was good. The Islanders GM so bad he traded to the Canadiens for less than other teams because other teams weren't as nice as the Habs GM. Yeah, well, I don't know. He didn't do him that much of a favor. Vanek wasn't taking anybody to the promised land at playoff time. Soft as butter. Does the fact that he's right-handed concern you at all? Thomas? Not really, no. I don't put much stock in the friggin' right-left thing. You're a great center. You're a great center, you know. The Habs acquired Thomas. Blues will want a center in exchange. That'll cost them Hage and a young player. Well, maybe. Yeah, well, I'm not saying it's just going to be Thomas for Kapanen. And why can you not see Kapanen being a center that they'd want? He's going to be a 20-goal center that kills penalties. Rookie center, 20 goals. You don't think they'd want that? Do you know how many rookie centers in the past 20 years have scored 20 goals and killed penalties regularly? You can count them on one hand. Yeah, they would take Kapanen. Every team in the league would take Kapanen. He's got good value. No, I don't. It costs more than Kapanen, but Kapanen would be a very attractive piece in return. You know, if you offered Kapanen, Beck, Engstrom in a first, why not? St. Louis, that would definitely intrigue St. Louis. My guess is Canadiens don't trade for Kadri. Good guess. I hope your guess is right. Concern is that if the Red Wings or perhaps the Sabres acquire Thomas, what will it? Yeah, well, there's that too, right? If you don't get him and one of your competitors does, then yeah. Thomas won't go for fair value. No, but Montreal's at the point where they could and maybe should overpay for a player. When's the last time they did it? You know, at some point you got to do it. You want to go for it, maybe pay a little extra. But, you know, Tampa paid way too much for guys at the trade deadline a couple of times. But you know what? They won 2 cups in large part because of it. So sometimes you got to overpay. Utah could offer Denwye, Hayden. Yeah, but why would they? Could offer a package around the Keishan, Detroit. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Utah would do that, but yeah, they're looking for a big haul. He's 26-year-old, 80-point centerman that was a big part of a Stanley Cup winner. Canadiens could use a guy with Stanley Cup pedigree. That's for sure. Stamkos has apparently said to the media he's not turning off his no trade clause this year. Okay, that's a double negative. Can you say that in plain English, Francois? I don't know if that means that. What's that mean? Sorry, my head can't. I can't wrap my head around it. Vanek would float the whole game, then score one. Sometimes. I mean, once every 3-4 games. Yeah, he was a 20 to 25 goal scorer at that point in his career. 25 to 30 tops. And did nothing else. Slow as molasses. Leafs GM used the dumb term snarl. Okay, about what? Cool guy. In my opinion, the Habs need a big physical right D, have Guhle, Matheson, and Hudson as a lefty. Yep. That's what I've been saying. Delorier. Bring back Delorier. Yeah, well, if they ever count fights as goals in the Stanley Cup playoffs, definitely. Anders got screwed in the Vanek trade, if I remember. They acquired him for a big price, traded for only a second a few months later. Yeah, well, geez, imagine, the Islanders, bad management? Who'd have thunk it? What player would you target for the Habs at the deadline? Rick. Hello, Rick. Charles. Charles in charge. 5 pounds from Charles. I hear you're a Cappy. Oh, regarding Cappy, but how good would he be without Demi and Slav? He's not creative, which in my opinion is the second line center should be. Yeah. How creative was Patrice Bergeron? He was okay. There's been a lot of good second line centers that weren't 50 assist guys. Cappy, I'd like to. You're right. We haven't seen enough creativity from him, but he is a rookie center playing against other teams' top two lines. And I've scouted him probably over 100 games before he played in Montreal. And there's more creativity than what we've seen. I think as he continues to adapt to the NHL speed, pace, skill, you're going to see more of that from him. There is some creativity, that untapped creativity, because he's a very smart player, and I think that will shine through more in the future here. We got to see him away from Demi and Slav, Charles, at the Olympics, and he looked fantastic. So, what was the reasoning then that, again, I saw him. He was great in the World Juniors without Demi and Slav. He was great in the Finnish league as a 20-year-old without Demi and Slav. He was great in the Swedish Hockey League without Demi and Slav. He led Finland at 20 years of age at the World Championships in goal scoring without Demi and Slav. I loved his game last year in the playoffs with Laval without Demi and Slav. So I don't, I'll respectfully argue that, it is a common narrative. Oh, it's good Demi and Slav. He looked good. He was solid and was leading the league in rookie goal scoring before Slav ever was on the line. He played with Newhook and Demi, a rookie, and a forward that isn't overly creative in Newhook, and he led the NHL in goal scoring for a rookie. The majority of the season, or at least half and more, he didn't even have Slav as a line mate, and he was good. So, in fact, he may have even been better than he's been with Slav. So, I don't think you can say it's only because of Demi and Slav. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. How late is it? What is it? Midnight, 1 o'clock, Charles, there in Scotland? Okay. Oh, I went back up a little too far. Thomas is still only 26. Yes. He's in his prime for the next 5, 6, 7 years. Yep. We got a good group out here. 1,200 watching on X. 116 here. If you're tuning in on X, and I'd love to see you. By the way, hit the like button. Come on. Do me a favor if you're watching on X. Go to HabsCast on YouTube. Hit the like button. And even better, join us in the live chat. If and give us your opinions on Pickford, on everything there. We're not getting that many comments on Pickford here. Vanek trade was made by the GM who signed Rick DiPietro to that terrible contract. That was Milbury. Milbury was a genius. Back in those days, they traded Chara and what turned out to be Jason Spezza for Yashin. Luongo for next to nothing, which was crazy because he drafted Rick DiPietro and then signed him to that ridiculous contract. Was it Kozlov and Luongo? Got back like Kavasha. It was just, what was it, McCult? That was one of the worst trades in NHL history. Just Brian Murray took him to the friggin' cleaners. I just got to look it up here. You know. Oh, because he handled the puck better. It was just a horrible trade. Yeah, in his rookie season. Sorry, I just I seem to remember Kavasha and McCult or something like that. It was just it was something else. Oh, it was Jokinen. That's right. Luongo and Ole Jokinen. 2 top 4 picks for Mark Parrish and Oleg Kavasha. Roberto Luongo and Ole Jokinen to Florida for Mark Parrish and Oleg Kavasha. One of the worst trades of all time. Absolutely, like, without question. And Chara and Spezza for Yashin wasn't far behind it. And then the trading all that for Vanek, and then, you know, getting rid of him for a second round pick. Absolutely sabotaged that franchise. All those years they had Darren as the number 1 center, truly ridiculous. Yeah. Mikey Therrien loved him and used him as a screener on the power play. You know, you go stand in front of the net and screen the goalies. Like, I don't know if he thought goalies had eyeballs in their chest or what, but it was just, it made no sense whatsoever. Also, Slaf has been reckless in his passing as well, so that hasn't helped. Yeah. I've also noticed lately that Demi, there's been a few times when Kapanen's been open and they've been kind of coming up, and Demi hasn't getting them the puck. I don't know. Yeah, no disrespect to Cappy, but okay. And again, VDoc, who I already mentioned it, but I'll drill it in again. Slav never played with Kapanen for the first half of the year. He had Newhook, who barely passes the puck till he got injured. The other guys, it wasn't, you know. And he was the leading rookie goal scorer without Slav. So no, it's just wrong. The narrative's wrong. Just like I swear you don't watch the game sometimes. Some of you guys just. Let's hope Islanders and Panthers on vacation. Don't want to see them in the playoffs. Yeah. Grant should create a FAQ for every question we see every day. Pareko, Xhekaj as a winger. Yeah. Kapanen, and Kapanen, you know, only being any good because of Demi and Slav. See that every frickin' day, too. Sorry, guys, I just get tired. I really do get tired of it. Schaefer's goals remind me of when I was young and played pinball. Oof. Crazy. He's crazy good. How many years would be reasonable to see him in the NHL? Yeah, I hear you. Cappy's the best drafted center in the league since Buchanan, or in the organization. Yeah, you can make that argument. That's for sure. Guhle is not going anywhere, Rob. He will be a stud, as Grant says, in the playoffs. Oh, I think so. Kirby's Dreamland. Oh, that's quite a mask Kent has on there. I think if he plays in the NHL, it's not going to be with the Habs. We already have many offensive-minded guys at the blue line. Oh, yeah? You don't think that you're talking about Pickford there? Yeah, thanks, Francois. There was, there was the overrun between Garsnow and Milbury. That's right. At that point, Garsnow signed DiPietro, but it was Milbury who drafted him, and because of it, traded away Luongo in the worst trade. Yeah, I wasn't talking really so much about the signing of DiPietro. It was the trades, and that was Milbury. That was all Mikey Milbury. Isn't having Guhle on the third pairing a bit of a waste? He's not on the third pairing. Guhle played 24 minutes, Rob, last game. 24:58. He led all defensemen in ice time. Oh, I won't be able to watch your post-game podcast as it'll be close to 6 a.m. here. Well, why don't you go to bed early, Charles? Yeah, I think you're a bit of a night owl, eh, buddy? Yeah, that's too funny. Oh well, hey, can't have you for every. You're a trooper just to even, to be tuning in as it is at this time. So will Bryce be a top 4 right-hand D? Well, you may have missed it there, but I said on the Habs at least, maybe third pairing D, who's power play goal scorer on the power play. He's not going to be ahead of Dobson and Reinbacher, maybe ever. No time soon. I'm staying in Nashville, not lifting my no trade clause. Oh, okay. Now I get it. Thanks, Francois. That ship has sailed anyway, I figured. We have a special year. 3 rookies might hit 20 goals and are playing penalty kill. Capman, Minton, Kindell. Yeah. Yeah, it's something else, eh? Minton is, Minton and Slav are it doesn't happen very often, and there's 2 in the same year. There haven't been 2 in the same year for a long time that scored 20 goals and also killed penalties regularly. It really is not that common, that's for sure. As far as Kindle being a regular on the penalty kill, are you sure about that? I know that Fraser Minton is, and I know Kindle's on the power play. But as far as him being like over a minute a game, 90 seconds a game, which I feel is sort of the mark to be considered a regular penalty killer. Has Kindle been doing that? I'm just double checking here. Yeah, he's only played 32 minutes on the PK this year. So I don't consider that to be a regular. It's 90 seconds plus a game average is what he occasionally is on the penalty kill, but his average per game on the PK is probably somewhere, it's 33 seconds. So, but still, he's at least a part-time penalty killer. And at his age, it's mighty impressive, man. I did not rank him high enough. I mean, there's one guy, if I redid my draft rankings, I would certainly have higher than I did. It's funny, I always rely on input from some NHL guys, and I know a scout that didn't have him, wasn't sure that he was a first-round pick, actually, and it ultimately influenced my rankings a bit because I really respect his opinions, and but I should have ignored them in this case. Yeah. So Kindle's got 15 goals. Yeah, he might hit 20, but again, not a regular enough penalty killer. I'm talking, on the PK all year type thing, and that wouldn't be Kindle. By the way, Kirby, do me a favor and if you want to post, please come to my YouTube channel. Hit the like button. I have a tendency not to even read posts off of X because X doesn't compensate me in any regard here. I just put it up there kind of to just to let people know that I'm here, but I really want people that are watching on X to view it on my YouTube channel, HabsCast, especially people that are chiming in on the here in the live chat. So I'd appreciate it. Suzuki got hurt. Could he step into a 1C role? In my opinion, a second line center should be able to perform as a slightly less 1C. Well, there were periods of time there, Charles, where, as far as I'm concerned, that the Cappy line was the first line. They were outplaying the second line. So I guess my answer is yes. I think he could. Certainly not going to hurt you away from the puck, and that's Cappy has went up against top two centers all friggin' year, and you're going to have some struggles here and there as a rookie center. He has performed over and above this year. They get a top four right D. Guhle will be on the third pairing. Well, again, Robbie led the team in ice time last game. He's only been improving as he's going along here. What's going to happen in the future is that he'll be getting more ice time soon enough than Matheson. May even be before the end of this year. And if they get a top four right D. I don't know if they're going to get a top four right D, but if they do, it just means that Matheson's going to, his ice time's going to be cut significantly. The Leafs could really use a guy like Minton now, eh? You think so? That was funny. With the cap going up, Goule's contract is a bargain. Oh, God, yeah. Even if he is there. Look, the Canadiens in the future are going to have a superb player, maybe 2 on their third pairing. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And they're also, they won't be getting Xhekaj type minutes. Trust me. Goule's regular on the PK, and he'll have a regular shift regardless what pairing he's on. What am I doing Friday? Geez, I don't know plans. What's going on Friday, Emil? Is there something happening? Oh, trade deadline. Just a post game. Are the Habs playing on Friday? I'll be all week. As soon as there's a trade, if it's before, I'll be doing a post trade, not just post game, post trade. No, I'm back with the Habs back playing here. I'm going every day this week, and probably twice on the days that the Habs are playing. Something during the day, and then I'm gonna have Dennis Bernstein on from who covers the LA Kings, probably Tuesday. Hoping to have Chris Stevenson on, Ottawa TSN. I'm going to ask a few people. I'll be doing all sorts of coverage all week. And if there's a trade early on here coming up, I'll be Charles, you're heading off. Okay, my friend. Yeah. And, night all, I need to get my kip. Slink. You're a meth? What? You do meth? Okay, my friend. Have a good day. Don't know what that means, but same to you. Mahath. Slate your Mahath. Good health as well. Thank you. I hope to avoid the cold like that our dear friend Rick has there. He didn't sound too good today, but he's a trooper. It's Gaelic, yeah. No. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Thanks, Charles. I appreciate the contribution, and I get a little revved up about Cappy at times. Hey, I realize he's far from perfect, and even I admit that if he has to be one of the pieces that goes for Robert Thomas, then I'm not averse to it. So, okay, get yourself some sleep, and we'll miss you on Tuesday night, but fully understandable that you're not up at 4 in the morning watching the game. Okay. Good health to you as well, Charles. Thank you. I like Zach. Yeah. Thing is, it doesn't sound like White Cloud's on. They're keeping White Cloud, I guess. I've seen Uyghur's name even mentioned. Coleman, Kadri. White Cloud, no. It doesn't appear that he's... so we got to kind of keep him... that's right, Ken, if you believe the insiders. Sometimes there's guys you think that's not available. Hey, just like Marlon Brando, right? Make me an offer I can't refuse. I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Well, maybe somebody, but they'd have to pay. I think he'd really have to pay for to get White Cloud. If Reinbacher pans out like most of us think, Habs D will be stacked and not that costly. No. Oh, I'm really looking forward to this week. It's going to be a dandy. Let's just get Werenski. Yeah. Oof. That'd be a dream, eh? I don't know. They need another 60-point defenseman. They just crazy how much offense they'd have then, eh? Or 80-point defenseman. Yvan Cournoyer, folks. I'm extending this. I know the 2 months is up, but Log's End, I'm going to give them a little extra because February, didn't have shows as regularly. But do me a favor, go check out their website. These guys, they take logs from the Ottawa River, deadheads that have been on the bottom of the river for over 100 years, since the heyday of the logging industry. Take them out, which helps clean up the river, by the way, the ecosystem. Make it into beautiful flooring, wide plank. I mean, some of these logs are about, 2-3 feet in diameter. They're huge. And make it into beautiful wide plank flooring that this guy, 10-time Stanley Cup winner, Yvan Cournoyer, got from Log's End. Absolutely loved it. Flooring throughout his beautiful home. And he couldn't recommend it enough. logsend.com. If you go there, you want to get a quote, tell them that Grant and Yvan sent you. You will be treated like royalty. Log's End. They've been great. It's been great for them to sponsor me the last 2 months, and I hope he renews, but he's only going to do it if people have have shown some interest in it. So you'd be doing me just a huge favor if you contacted them. Thank you. Grant, do you feel Thomas is as good a fit as it seems? Slav and Demi are already play drivers, pass first type players who's shooting. We shuffle the lines. Slav's gonna be a 30-goal scorer. I think he'd love to have Thomas setting him up. Maybe he'd be a 40-goal scorer then. You don't worry too much, Francois. Sometimes we get just like the right-left thing, or you don't overthink it, right? Great players find ways. Like they all score 25 goals and have 45 to 55 assists. That's great. Thomas playing with Slav and Demi would up the goal totals on the defensemen too. Don't forget, there's 5 players on the ice. Those 3 were aligned together. Guess what? Whatever defensemen are playing with them, they're going to score. They're going to score their share of goals too, right? So, I try not to get. We're all fans and we're all fanatical and stuff, but sometimes can overthink things a little too much, and I can guarantee you that they're not. Saying, oh, they're not hedging on it because of this possibility here, right? I'd be pretty surprised. If Guhle didn't have injuries, he would have already proved his worth as our best all-around D-man. Probably. People also forget that he used to quarterback the PP for the Oil Kings. Oh, no, he's going to get some points before the end of the year, too. He's been moving up in the play, getting some opportunities. He's going to start sniping a few at the end of the year here. And Guhle is just such a need. There's only one, and they need another Guhle in the lineup on the right side, really. I know it's Guhle that's on the right side now, but, that's the type of player that they're hoping to get so that they have 2 of them in the lineup. No, Guhle's only getting better as going along here. He will never be playing less than 15 minutes. As I say, last game, 24-58, led any Montreal defensemen in ice time. He's just, he's just coming along here. Again, not a guy that's had a lot of friggin' NHL experience. Like we tend to forget, right? All of the injuries and stuff. 188 career games, folks. That's nothing, you know. You only start to really see what you have in a defenseman when they played 300 games, let alone just 200. And he hasn't even played 200. So, yeah. Even counting playoffs, he's played less than 200 NHL games, folks. Tip of the tip of the iceberg. And he's only 24, just turned 24. His best years are ahead of him. Let's hope he can stay healthy for a long period of time too. That curtailed his development to a certain degree too, right? Not being fully healthy for any stretch of time. As Ken says here, he's got a great wrist shot too. Schaefer just got his 20th. Yeah. 18-year-old defenseman, folks. 20 goals. What do you think of those apples? Dem apples, eh? Just curious about some guy here. So what would it have been? 66. Yeah. Or didn't score 20 till he was 20. So even the great Bobby Orr didn't score 20 goals as a teenager. Isn't that something, folks? I still look back, and I remember saying at the time too, you know, people say, oh, well, you know, getting the first overall pick last year, you know, it's not like you're getting a McKenna. And what? Just wait and see here. Matthew Schaefer, you know, I argued it. I said, look, I prefer Schaefer to McKenna, you know. I mean, 25 to 30-minute power play, penalty kill, offensive, defensive defenseman that skate like the wind. I like Gavin McKenna, but he's never going to be that valuable. You know, a 5'11" winger. But people just look at the stats and, you know, and to a certain degree, it was the fact that Schaefer didn't see a lot of playing time last year, so people weren't necessarily that aware of just how good he was. But what little we did see, like at the Palenka, blew me away. Early in the season, blew me away, and then just that one game in the World Juniors, he was fantastic. So nobody could predicted him that good, but I thought, you know, he could be a franchise defenseman, and without a doubt, that's what he is. He's something else. Makes Patty Waugh, you know, I like what the job Patty Waugh's done with not a great team, but when you've got a stud like that back on the blue line, boy, can make a coach pretty smart in a hurry. Guhle with the great wrister, yeah. Has all the tools and an above-average level skating size and strength. He was great for Edmonton on that. When, you know, he won the playoff MVP that year. Not too many defensemen get that honor. Superb for Edmonton. And again, had to overcome some injuries, right? 19 games, 16 points. Solid defensively. Really, he'll be him and Reinbacher will be great playoff performers when they're. I can't wait 2 or 3 years down the road. Good point, Grant. Less than 200 games. Give him time. He's an absolute stud. Will most likely lead our D in ice time most nights soon. Yeah, for sure. All right, folks. Closing in on 2 hours here. I'm going to wrap this up. I got caught up. Thank you, Charles, for the donation. Oh, Francois. Sorry, buddy. I didn't see that. $2. Thank you. That's it's really appreciated. You're a regular contributor, and it's great. Thank you. Islanders is a weird project. They have important players already, 30 and over. They might never have a core at the same age group as Schaefer. Unclear how Darsh will build that team. Yeah. Yeah, I know. He's got work to do, but when you've got a franchise defenseman, they've got 10 years, right? Get it figured out here. Schaefer's going to be a star for 20 years. So, if it takes 10 years, guess what? You got a 28-year-old defenseman who's the best in the league probably at that point. And then, if you have the team around him, then they're laughing. So, I tried to slow down, but down my 6th beer already. Zeph. How old are you, Zeph? You like your brews? Saw Pickford playing Lethbridge late December, all offense for sure. Picked up 4 points. I agree with your assessment of his defensive play. Needs some work. You can teach defense, right? Yeah, you can. Oh, Zeph, you're in your prime, eh? When I was 21, by 9 o'clock, if I didn't have 6 beers into me, I wasn't very thirsty. Yeah. Okay, my friend. Thanks. We don't have too many 21-year-olds to tune in, I don't think. Cool. I used to like my quarts. By 9, I'd have 6 quarts into me. Well, Pickford needs work. Thanks, Luke. I hope I hope you enjoyed the frankness of it. Like, we can't sugarcoat this. How he plays away from the puck in his own zones, what's going to get him into the NHL. You have to be able to defend to play in the NHL. That's why Reinbacher hasn't been called up yet, and he's way ahead of Pickford when it comes to that part of the game at this point. So if Reinbacher's not in the Montreal Canadiens lineup yet, then don't be expecting to see Pickford for at least 2 years in the AHL, and it may be 3 or 4. And that's not, that's the average age for an NHL defenseman to become a regular is basically 23, 24 years of age. So it would not be abnormal if it took Pickford 3 to 4 years of AHL experience before he's ready to make that jump. Don't forget to, just like with Tyler Thorpe, who when he first came into the WHL, his first year, his draft year, barely played, barely got 5 goals or something like that, wasn't drafted, wasn't even considered to be drafted. Then his second year, he he made a big step. Third year, another big step. Now it's his first year in the AHL. Same deal as his first year in junior. He needed time. He wasn't, he's not playing a top 6 role or anything like that. He's adapting. Well, Pickford in his draft year scored 2 goals. Wasn't great, didn't get drafted, was still trying to adapt to the junior hockey level. And then the following year, last year, he had that breakout. And now he's a star. Well, expect a similar path that Thorpe had, where next year he'll be in the AHL. There'll probably be some struggles here and there. He'll have to adapt. Second year, he'll be better. Third year, hopefully, kind of dominates as he dominates the WHL in his third year. And at that point, then he's ready to hopefully grasp a spot in the NHL lineup, because that shot of his is going to, I don't care what league he's playing in, that shot is going to, he's going to get goals. He's going to get goals. Sorry, pressed the wrong button, 61. Okay. This week will be interesting. I can't get rid of the feeling Kent's going to pull something off, especially if he's able to shed Laine's contract. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Glenn. Yeah, late to the dance for sure. 1,400 people have viewed it on X so far. Again, folks, if you're on X, come on over. Press the like button, please. Subscribe if you haven't. I'd like to get at least 100 likes. It's kind of a goal for every show. Mark's not here to tabulate for me, I guess. He usually keeps. We've been at 4.49, 4,490 some for the last week. I'd really like to get that over 4,500 subscribers. So do me a favor, if you're watching on X or if you're watching on YouTube, and if you haven't subscribed yet, it would, I'd really appreciate it. I mean, I've been stuck, like I say, in 4.49K for a week now, and I'd like to get it over the 4,500 mark. So press that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'd appreciate it. I'm just going to check the stats here, see how many people have liked the show tonight so far. Oh, okay. We've had 1,300 people on YouTube, which is a great number. Thank you. That's great. As far as likes go, I like it to be close to 10%, but I don't suspect that I'll have 130 likes. But I'm going to tell you in a sec. 52 likes. So less than 5% have that have come onto YouTube, have taken the time to press that like button. Folks, I gotta say that's disappointing. 1 in 20 of the people that tune in take the time to press like. Well, I'm gonna make it 53. I'm gonna press it. There we go. Because I've liked the show. Just just Rick even coming on. I mean, do us that, the fact that Rick came on and he's sick as a dog. Just press the like button for Rick, okay? Glenn because I was late, $5. Okay, well, can you be late more often, Glenn? Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the donation. Don't see the sponsor labels. Yeah, well, no. They're I'm only doing Next Level. The deal that I have with Next Level is after post games Habs, but I've been doing extra for them anyway. By the way, nextlevelhockey.com, go check them out. And also the other ad is up. So, anything that I give them right now is gravy. So, but it wasn't on purpose that I didn't have the logos up tonight. I just, thanks for reminding me. Hit the like button, gang. There you go. Oh, Mark is here. 48 likes at the moment. Yeah. Well, I up to 53 when I hit the button. Oh, and there's Donnie McCaskill. Geez, the guys are coming in here. Coming in at the last moment. Thank you, Don, for gifting 5 recruits HabsCast memberships. I was wondering where you were. Would you be surprised that the Habs traded no one? The Habs trading no one? Trade for no one. Okay. Well, Kent Hughes has shown that he won't just make a trade for the hell of just for the hell of it. So no, if there's not a lot of sellers, right? So wouldn't be shocked if he didn't make a trade, but at the same time, I think look, if you can go by what the plan was for when Gorton was in New York, it was at this point where they went for it, and they they had the 3-year rebuild or whatever, built up the assets, and then went for it, getting Panarin and all that kind of stuff. So I think just based on the plan that Gorton had in New York, that the Canadiens are contending now. With a couple of additions and the East wide open, they may seriously contend for a Stanley Cup final. Yeah, I'd be disappointed if they didn't make a deal or two. Let's just see. Friedman said something about, I don't know. He's not going to rush to make a bad deal. It was like a comment where it was like, no kidding, yeah, Elliot. Like, no, he's not going to make a bad. He's not going to overpay just for a rush to overpay, just for the sake of overpaying. But I don't see that happening. There's Costa too. Super sticker, $1.99. Geez, they're coming out at the. I had to talk for 2 hours, eh? And the folks then the money starts coming in. Oh well, whatever works. I'm not. So this is an encouraging start to March. Let's hope I get back into the 1,000 this month. Last month, like I say, I don't think I hit 800 in revenue from YouTube, and ideally it's It's double that. So hoping to get back into the 4 figures this month and starting off promising with your contributions today. Thanks. 31 days in this month and the trade deadline, 15, 16 games. I think we'll definitely get definitely get that figure back up. Hopefully in the 1500 range. Thank you, everyone. Let's see what else here. I haven't looked at scores. 5-4 Islanders. That Schaefer is something else, eh? Man, oh man. So I'm going to look at the scoreboard here. Pittsburgh 5-0. Sydney who? Chicago wins 4-0. That was kind of a weird one. We watched San Jose. Misa scored the overtime goal to beat Winnipeg. Hellebuck couldn't get us our 2 points. Islanders beat the Panthers. I wonder if the Panthers will sell a couple of guys here coming up. St. Louis beat Minnesota 3-1. Minnesota is, I don't think they've lost a couple in the Robert Thomas with the empty net goal and an assist on a goal by a fella named Logan Mailloux. Nice to see Logan score one. He took a lot of heat. I was not on board with, oh no, Logan Mailloux won't play, da-da-da. Oh, nice shot. Mailloux scored a real nice goal tonight. Hell of a wrister. He's got an elite shot. Absolutely. Anyone see the goal by Mailloux tonight? Oh, nice. Folks are going to change their, I remember, it was a headline for Simone saying that it's going to be one of the worst trades, one of the best trades Montreal ever made, getting Bolduc for Mailloux. A little early to be making that proclamation. That was a couple of months ago, and I know Simone was never a big Mailloux guy, but I've been around the game a long time, and just like Goalie with his 188 games in the NHL so far, he's just scratching the surface. Logan Mailloux playing less than 100 games in the junior. The guy's nowhere near to a finished product, and he's going to be a good one. I think at this point, time will tell, but I think that St. Louis is going to end up, we're going to look back on that trade in 10 years and say, that was a good one for St. Louis, but we'll see. Bolduc, I don't think will be a top 6 forward, and I think Mailloux will be a top 4 defenseman. Which is more valuable? I think you know the answer to that. Grant, what are your thoughts on Pickford? Yeah. I never even mentioned him tonight, Dan. You'll have to go back, buddy, and watch about 45 minutes in. Start watching there, or closer to an hour, and you'll get my full take on Pickford. I'm not going to repeat it now, if you don't mind. Show some video. Go back and have a look. Somewhere between 45 and 60-minute mark, I think. Or it may have been around 60. No points for Florida. Well, no, that's the main thing as far as I'm concerned. I still want those teams that are outside to, not gain any ground. Thank you very much. the last thing I'd hate to see is a Habs collapse and finish 9th or something like that. So I think if the Habs get 10 points or 12 in their next 10, then it's a done deal. So hopefully they go on this road trip, win a few, keep things rocking and rolling. How many likes are we up to now? Did we crack 60? All right, let's the loss will hurt Florida. I'm happy about it. Yeah. I mean, I want more of these teams that are out to keep losing this week, because then the odds are better that there's more sellers, right, at the trade deadline. The more sellers, the better it is for the Canadiens if they are indeed buying, because then there's less competition. You know, there's more. It's more even, the buyers to sellers. Right now, it's obviously slanted toward there being more teams wanting to buy than to sell. So Florida, I think they can have almost, you can stick a fork in them at this point. Go to the lives. Going to go to the live standings here and have a quick look. San Jose is not out of it. LA, Nashville, San Jose, 9, 10, 11, all tied with 62 points. So will they be sellers? Probably not. Hopefully LA is a buyer. They want Laine. Calgary, Winnipeg, Chicago, St. Louis, Vancouver, they're all done, I would say. So there's 5 buyers there. In the East, Islanders, I think the Leafs, Panthers, Devils, and Islanders are the teams that are definitely going to be aren't going to make the playoffs at this point. They're all 8 back of Boston, and they've Toronto and Florida each have played a game more. So I think they're all done. Not official, but I would say. But that only is 4 teams in the East. So 9 teams out of 32. You know, that's not a pile. But when it comes to the Canadiens, I think they've got more ammunition than most. So I expect them to make a couple deals here. Could Montreal trade the rights on Laine for a late round pick so another team got priority to sign Laine for a new contract? There was demand for Dvorak. Why not Patrick Laine? I don't think teams are going to be rushing out to want to sign Laine to a new contract, though. A lot different players. Christian Dvorak had a great second half last year. It was very underrated, and he's been very good. And they're in every cent of his contract. Philly. But was there a big demand for Dvorak? I don't know. I know he wasn't traded. He signed as a UFA. But way different type player. Teams have to fit Laine into their cap. Yeah. Might not be easy. Don't forget he has a low hockey IQ, Grant. Who's that? MSL will have no choice but to ride Dobie more. It's unheard of that a team galloping to the end of the season doesn't give his playoff tender more reps to prepare the mystic mind of a goalie. The mystic mind. Yeah. 60 now. Oh, yeah? Zeffel's 61. You're 60 now, Mark? 60 likes, eh? Don't like that ratio being under 5%, but anyway, that's okay. Maybe people will feel sorry for me and like after I'm off the air here. February 28, 1978, Lafleur scored a Hattie and 3 assists. That's right. To mark his 4th 100-point season. I saw that on social media yesterday. Yeah. Remember that big playoff game against St. Louis? Didn't he have 3 goals, 3 assists in that one? In Game 1 of their quarterfinal series against the Blues, April 11th, 1977, Lafleur had a hat trick and 3 assists. Yeah. That one was always memorable for me. It came at playoff time. It's like, oh, that's not too bad there, Flower. Johnny, you know I'm getting ready to pack it in, eh? So, do you see Marty breaking up the Cappy line? Yeah. No. Maybe. If he gets Robert Thomas, yeah. Toronto and Florida are cooked. Love it. Yeah. I'd like to go back and look. Liam and I did a points prediction thingamajig at the start of the year. I had Montreal ahead of Toronto at that point. I think I had them winning the division, actually. Yes, sir, Andy. We've been talking about that. Schaefer, 20 goals. 18-year-old with defenseman with 20 goals. Maybe something that's never duplicated. It's never been done till now. And it may never be duplicated. Franchise defenseman of the highest degree. Don, I really appreciate you gifting some HabsCast memberships. Costa K, you haven't said too much today, but your $2 donation is quite appreciated. Glenn, thanks for the late donation. Francois, as always, much appreciated. Charles, of course, with his £5, which is, I don't know, $7, $8. Very generous. Thank you. He's sleeping there now, but maybe you can hear me anyway. Thank you all. 227 in. I think I'm going to have to pack this in. I have to go grab a bite to eat. Dova should play more. You're on your 9th pint now, Zeffel? Sucking them back. Dova should play more. Monabo just cannot keep sustainable performances. Yeah, but moneypuck.com, he's one of the top 13 goalies in saves above something or other in the last 10 games. So sometimes those stats, I don't know. I'll go, like I said to Rick, I'll go with the defenseman, or sorry, the goalie that's 9-0 and 9-0 and 2 in his last 11 over the guy with the saves above expected, with the better saves above expected mark. That's, I don't know, 4, 5, and 2 in his last. What's Monty's record in his last 11 games? I'm just gonna look this up. Because now I'm curious. His last 5. Okay, we got to do the game log here. Bear with me 1 minute. So 1-2-1, 2-2-1, 2-3-1, 4-3-1, 5-3-1, 5-4-1, 5-5-1. So, yeah. Okay. All right. 5-4-2 in his last 11 compared to 9-0-2 for Dobie. I'll go with the 9-0-2. I don't know about you folks. The eye test is still the best. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, exactly, Mark. Yeah. Great stat to show. Yeah. But look at his saves above expected. Money Puck don't know shit. Those places come up with numbers just for the heck of it. Well, what I got a kick out of too, it's the headline says top NHL goalies last 10 games. Like, why? Because their saves above expected. Because of that makes them the top, you know? How about the goalie that's 9-0-2 instead of the one that's 5-4-2, right? That's the top goalie, in my mind. Certainly on the Habs, anyways. Yeah. All right, folks. I appreciate the late push, but I have to get going here. And I'll be on again tomorrow. I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to feature, but it's trade deadline time, and I'll set the table. A little bit more talk like that. I'll do a video of a Habs player or prospect, talk about that as well. Not sure what time. Likely sometime in the afternoon I'll do a show, but maybe it will be at night too. I seem to be getting a decent audience here when I come on, like 7-8 o'clock. So I'm gonna maybe start doing a few more shows. The people, obviously, more people are available to watch live at 7-8 p.m. than at 1, I assume, right? I was doing one shows at noon, but Tony started overlapping past noon, and a lot of people kept watching that, so I delayed it till 1. By the way, Simo is not going to come on. He informed me last week we were going to do a show on Wednesday, and he informed me last week that Sick told him that he can no longer come on this podcast, so that's the way it goes. So I will not be having Simo Boisvert on podcasts anymore. No, not for the foreseeable future anyways, which is too bad. I like Simo, and we had some good conversations, and also coming up to the draft, I wanted to be able to, have him on and talk draft prospects a little more, but that has been kiboshed by Sick Podcast. And hey, whatever. That's the way the cookie crumbles, right? Miracle Monty was great when the team needed higher draft picks. See? There's a good way of looking at it, right? Okay. Drum Dude's here. Thanks, Greg. Good night, all. Yes. Mark, good night. You put in 9 hours minimum this weekend on podcasts. You're a monster, dude. Yeah. A lot of time this weekend. And you know what? I've enjoyed every minute of it. Monty playing for 500, exactly what we need to make the playoffs. Play him. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Thanks again. 1,587. Great numbers. Can't thank you enough for the support. Hope to see you tomorrow. I'll let you know when. I'll get up a link fairly early on YouTube and give everybody a heads up. And hope you can join me live again tomorrow at some point. Okay. Great stuff. Thank you. Have a pleasant evening.